G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Thursday, the 22nd of the 3rd, 2018, and the time here is 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well folks, plenty to go through. Let me change the screen. Okay folks, this is my Patreon page. In the future, any interviews that I do, you will only be able to see them on the Patreon page. The Patreon page is struggling a bit. And folks, look, I want to clear something up because this is important. I don't work anymore. And that's not because I'm a millionaire or anything like that, believe me. I'm a registered disabled pensioner, more or less. I had a work accident a few years ago. Now, please don't look. I'm not trying to rattle a tinny or anything. It's not the point of this. What I'm trying to say to you is, I've got people writing to me saying, "Oh, you're a scumbag. You want money." Blah 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 blah. Well, no, I don't want money. What I just said was, if you give me money, this keeps me going, and I can spend more time on this. Because this is just about a full-time job, finding information, analytics, data, you name it. There's a lot of people that do this the same as me who get paid a fair bit of money to do what they're doing, and they ask for money. So, look, I'm not asking you to break the bank. What I'm saying is that if you can help, great. I'll use it to keep the show going. It matters not to me if you don't want to, but please don't write to me saying, go and get a job, blah, blah, blah. I can't work anymore, folks. It's as simple as that. Unfortunately, I've got a neuropathic pain disease and I have to take shitloads of drugs to keep my brain from zapping me with pain every day. It doesn't work, but, look, I'm not an ex-veteran. I didn't get shot, bombed or blown up, and I haven't got cancer. I'm not dying as far as I know. So, look, I'm okay. So please don't write to me, blah, blah, blah. Look, this happened in 2013. I've been living with it since then. It's shit. There's no denying that. But like I said, I haven't got cancer. I'm not dying. I'm not an ex-war vet that's got his leg blown off or anything like that. So, look, it's just what it is. I got to learn to deal with it. So if you can help, that's my point. Hope I made that clear. Sorry. And as I said, as regards to the Patreon page, I will be doing interviews, etc. on the Patreon page. They will not be on the YouTube site because I want to try and promote this a bit more. And I'm lining up some pretty good interviews, hopefully. That's if I can get in touch with people, because it's bloody hard these day and age with YouTube. PayPal account, that's my PayPal account. If you'd like to give money on the PayPal instead of Patreon, great, help me out, no end. Okay. Russia and the Russian narrative as regards to chemical weapons is complete bullshit. You do not have to be a Rhodes Scholar or have been to Harvard or Yale or have more than 2 P's in your brain to work out that it was all bullshit. I've got something that someone sent to me, and I'm going to put it on the description box, and I'm going to ask people, please get this article and send it to everybody, because it is that crucial in regards to the narrative on this Russian bombing. Now, don't forget, as regards to us, we only make up, I don't know, how many, 5% of the 95% of people that are awakened. The rest are asleep. So we've got 95% asleep, 5% awakened. So we haven't got a big amount of people that, locally, maybe worldwide we're a few, but locally, geez, you throw a cannonball down the street and not hit anybody, you know what I mean? It's the way it is, but we need to enlighten more people. It's incumbent on every single person within this movement to try and reach one other person, and trying to get that person to reach one other person. That's what this is all about. So that's what I'm going to show you was sent to me via email, and I checked it out, and it's all true. So let me show you. And this is it here. Basically, it's from a site called The Truth Seeker. And I hope these guys don't mind me using their article here. I'm not going to read it chapter and verse, but as I said, I'm going to leave the link in the description box so you can send this around to everybody. Because, folks, let me go down the bottom here. To summarise, Porton Down, which is in Somerset in England, well, it's in Wiltshire actually, but it is the place where the UK government, you actually have to get your mind around this because this is so crazy. They have a place called Porton Down. There used to be another one in Scotland which they closed down, and which they literally had to seal with concrete because it's so poisonous. But this place, Porton Down, is the UK government's chemical weapons division, i.e. that's where they make chemical weapons. Now, to summarise, Porton Down is acknowledged in publications it has never seen any Russian Novichoks. That's the nerve agent that tried to kill, that they supposedly tried to kill these two Russians with. The UK government has absolutely no fingerprint information such as impurities that can safely attribute this substance to Russia, and that's true. Until now, neither Porton Down nor the world's expert at the Organisation for the Prevention of Chemical Weapons were convinced Novichoks even existed. The UK is refusing to provide a sample to the OPCW, who is the leading mob. Novichoks were specifically designed to be able to be manufactured from common ingredients on any scientific bench. Now, this is important. If you read the whole story, you'll get the idea of this. The Americans dismantled and studied the facility that allegedly developed them. It is completely untrue. Only the Russians could make them, if anybody can. Of course, look, you don't have to be Einstein to work that out. The Novichok program was in, not Russia, Uzbekistan, not in Russia. Its legacy was inherited by the Americans during their alliance with Karimov, not by the Russians. Now, this is a great article, folks, honestly. As I said, I'm going to put it in the description box. You guys can read it and go through it yourselves, okay? Now, this is from the ABC News here in Australia. Now, if you remember, I said to you a little while on my last video that this guy up here in the top right with the bird, the red-headed bird with the glasses, this guy here, he's a double agent. Sorry, just having a drink. So he was working for Russia and he was working for the UK. They both knew about it and they were using him to their advantage. But obviously, when one got a little bit peed off at the other one, he eventually got jailed and he went to jail in Russia. I think it was for 5 years. Then what happened was the UK with the US found out that there was actually, I think it was 23 people in London working for the KGB or the new KSD or DES or DV or whatever they're called now, from the Russian side. Now, as part of that deal to get those people back, the Russians handed over the Russian spy that got hit with a nerve agent 8 years ago. Literally, there you go, handed him over to the UK. Now, you've got to ask yourself, what in the world would the Russians want to, why would the Russians want, he could not have any new information after that date. He would have been water tortured, electrocuted, beaten to a pulp, various instruments shoved up his ass, you name it. He would have copped it when he went back to Russia. Stuck out in the middle of Siberia somewhere. His life would have been an absolute misery for the 5 years he was in jail. So from that date that they handed him over to the UK, he was basically useless to them. So why, 8 years later, would the Russians go and put a nerve agent on him in a park when they could easily go up and go, boom? You don't have to be any higher than kindergarten or maybe grade 2 to figure this out, folks. It's not like, oh, geez, that's a bombshell. And people believe this shit. People actually believe this shit. That's what's wrong with the world. People are so dumb, they can't even think for themselves anymore. So let me read this out to you a little bit. Putin goes on to talk about, they don't even have any nuclear nerve agents anymore. They've got plutonium, etc., which they killed a bloke in the UK, and everybody knows that they killed that bloke. That's not even in argument. Everyone knows they did it. They even know the guys that did it. They know everything about it. Now, let me read down here. Secondly, Russia does not have nerve agents. We destroyed all our chemical weapons under the supervision of international organisations, and we did it first, unlike some of our partners who promised to do it. That's true, but unfortunately did not keep their promises. Now, let's go down here. This guy, this whole thing is one big setup. And it's starting to fall down around the UK's ears because people are realising that this is absolutely, as the story started to evolve, people are now realising that this is just absolute bullshit. Now, I'm hoping I can go on this bit here. This is quite funny if you want to read this story. I'll put the link in there. Now, they're talking about the Russian agent, Skripal, 66, as a former colonel in Russian military intelligence who was arrested in 2004 in Moscow after it was found he had been working as a double agent for the British. Blah, 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 blah. He was charged with high treason in the form of espionage and sentenced to 13 years in prison. While he languished in a Russian cell, events were underway in the USA which were to see Skripal gain his eventual freedom. Now, this is where these guys come in. Sorry, I'm sure it was 23, but there was 10 agents handed back to Russia, right? Now, he spent 5 years in prison. As part of the trade deal, Skirpol was granted asylum in the UK, where he had kept a low profile for the past 8 years. On Sunday, he was found slumped, unconscious on a bench at a Salisbury shopping centre alongside his daughter, Yulia, who was reportedly visiting him from Moscow. Now, I'm pretty sure she didn't come over and wipe his face with nerve agent. Can you see that? This is a guy here, Vividenko, that got poisoned by the Russians. Everybody knows that. So you've got to ask yourself, now why would they go to all the effort after 8 years of killing this bloke when they could easily walk up? By the way, he lived in Salisbury all that time and everyone knew where he lived. It was, come on guys, it's just bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. So hopefully you guys can get this out to people, so that people can actually read this stuff and actually put two brain cells together and actually go, hang on, what, we're going to go to war for that, for a lie? Because you can actually see that that is a lie. You don't kill someone after 8 years with a nerve agent. You might double tap them in the head. Doesn't that make more sense than the narrative? Of course it does. 1 second. Okay, what I'm about to say may sound just a little brutal. But sometimes you need to get a brick in the face to actually realise that you're being a bit of a dickhead probably. I don't know. It happened to me when I was younger. Young fellas always, running around trying to prove their worth and get a slap here and there. Does the world of good for you, in my opinion. Makes you pull your horns in. But I'm not going to talk about any violence or anything like that. This is not what this is about. I'm going to talk to you about Facebook. I don't do Facebook. The reason I don't do Facebook is because it's a CIA operated apparatus. It's very clear. There's no two ways about it. Now, what I would say is that if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, any of these stupid bloody things, you need your bloody head read. In actual fact, if you're actually doing all this like me and you're in this environment, you should be, if that's the way everyone else is going, you should be going that way with any of this stuff. And bloody fast. If you are on Facebook, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, but you are. You have to have bloody rocks in your head. What's the best thing that Facebook's good for? Who uses Facebook the most? Women. I'm not trying to be sexist here, but it's the truth. Women. And it's socially unacceptable for them not to do so. Why? Because the CIA, in all their wisdom, know people like the back of their hand, know how they think, know how they react. So how can you get all the world to go on to something where you can monitor them 24/7? Facebook. Why? Because women, what's the main thing women put on there? Pictures of their families, pictures of their relations, pictures of their dog, pictures of the cat, pictures of the bird, pictures of the food they buy, cafes they go to, push this button, let everyone know where you are. Are you crazy? Are you absolutely out of your frigging minds? I've stopped my wife doing that. Think about what I just said. Hit this button because I'm at Cafe Deplorable having a drink with my fantastic bunch of friends, and here we are. And here's a picture of us on holidays, and here's a picture of us doing this, and here's a picture of my newborn baby, and here's a picture of this. Are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy? Seriously. This is madness, guys. And if you're a bloke watching this, you know how hard it is to tell your missus to stop using this stupid, ridiculous, soul-destroying, community-destroying crap. Now, I'm going to show you this article that was in today's paper. Now, guys, this is no mistake. If you read this article, right, it's in the ABC today. I'll put the link, I'll try and put the link in for you. But look, if you read that article as a sensible, rational human being, then you would automatically shut down your Facebook page. And like I said, I'm highly recommending that you do. Folks, this is by far the most nefarious, evil, criminal thing that has ever come into our lives. And this muppet here, this bloody moron here, he's not the bloody owner of this. He's the poster boy. He is the poster boy. I actually don't know what else to say about it except that. It is a criminal cartel. Okay. They screw it up so bad I have to go back in these things. Anyway, here I am. One of the things I wanted to talk to you today was about financial. Listen, I don't know if you're paying attention what's going on, obviously, financially in America. Not with the markets, not with anything else, but within the US government. Guys, they're literally running dry of money every month. Because the money you're using is not covering the money that they've got. Nowhere near it. Like it's, blowing out by trillions of dollars each month now, just about. Now, you need to be paying really big attention to what I'm going to show you now, because it's getting to the stage where even crooked politicians are starting to say, well, this is getting kind of crazy now, folks. Like, we're going to that woohoo, la la land, and we're not coming back. So just watch what I'm going to show you. Just listen to what I'm going to show you anyway. This was in Zero Hedge. Unless you were paying attention, you probably would have missed it, to be honest. Now, as I was saying, if you want to find this in Zero Hedge, that's the heading there. Now, I can't use Zero Hedge for any longer than I have to screenshot the pages now because there's something wrong with Zero Hedge. There seems to be an underlying virus or something at the back of it, whereas if I open it up on my page for any length of time, it completely fries my computer. So I can't actually use it live anymore. I can look at the article I want, then I have to screenshot it so I can show you guys. This is really, really worrying, folks. They're talking about omnibus spending. Now, somewhere along the line, things got awfully screwed up. He's now having a hell of a time. And the lawmakers are having a hell of a time reconciling these budgets. They haven't even got a budget, folk. There is no budget. They're actually just grabbing 1.5 trillion from the air, throwing it in the kitty and saying, yeah, she'll be right for another month. We're getting to that stage now where, in actual fact, in my opinion, where people are starting to actually say, well, hang on a minute, you told us that this was going to be okay. Even insane and not rational people are now starting to wake up about this. And it can't go on. It just literally, look, every month they're going to go, there's 1.53 trillion, let's put another 3 trillion in the kitty, and we'll just sail the good ship HMS bloody gazillion dollars into the horizon. They can do, but you all possibly know the outcome of that: massive inflation, crashing of economies. So soon, folks, you're just going to get to this point where they're just going to get to this point where they're just going to go, we can't do anymore. What are we going to do? Now, the only thing they can do now, and the very day that you hear this, you know that this is the end. It's the absolute end of it all. The day that you hear them say that they're going to start the printing presses up again, the Federal Reserve, and they're going to print more money, and this time it'll be helicopter money. And what that means is they're going to rain money down on everyone, every citizen, business, the whole lot. They're going to go for broke because they can't do it any other way. They're going to give everybody, I don't know, let's say they decide to give everyone $2,000, and they're going to give businesses $20,000. But you have to spend it. Do you realise the craziness of that situation? Argentina tried it, Germany tried it, Venezuela tried it. Every country in the world, Rome, every country, every fiat currency system has done it. And it's all ended in the complete destruction of that economy and the country and the nation that it was, that it built. So, we're like that close away from this, folks. You all know it. If you're watching this, you must know it, because why would you be watching shows like mine? So, cross the T's, dot the I's, prepare, keep preparing. If you've prepared, check your stuff, go through stuff. I'm not going to say much more about it because you obviously know, but it just can't keep going on. I know I've been saying this for 2 years, but the reality is that now, if you read that article, that the president is now going, look, where's this all going? As a sane businessman, you just can't keep it going. It's not feasible, and it's not rational. And people laughed at me when I said Trump's going to call a debt jubilee, and I call me crazy, but I reckon he is. Might be wrong, but what other option has he got? I'm sure he went to the Chinese at the beginning of all this and said, well, you need to keep buying our bonds. And they went, And, do you know what sit on a pole and spin means? I.e. go and fire truck yourself. And that's why he's gotten a bit harder in his stance on a lot of things as regards to China. There's no plan B, folks. No plan B. So you have to have a plan A. Alrighty. Okay, folks. Verse of the day. It just amazes me every time I go on this. Maybe they've got a algorithm or something that listens to my voice, because it seems every time I go on this, it actually says exactly what I wanted to say. Verse of the day. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh. But her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. I'll read it again because it's a good one. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh. But her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. And as always, folks, we're going to end with the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. All right, folks, just a couple of things. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you can buy a life straw bottle. It's hard to show you. Yep. And they're bloody good. They're actually good. The life straw is actually inside. So you can pull up to a creek, scoop up heaps of water. It's got a pretty robust clip on it that I put on my knapsack, backpack, and I take it everywhere. And the water's nice, to be honest. Secondly, this is my backpack that I take everywhere. Now, you can carry whatever you want, but the reason I'm showing you this is hopefully to make you guys realise there's no point me telling you everything I just told you and then saying, you could go for an hour car drive tomorrow, get broken down on the freeway. How are you going to get home? Or you're going to go down, look, what's going to come is going to come. And it's going to come soon. And it's going to come, I can guarantee you, in the middle of the night when, like a thief in the middle of the night. You're not going to know when. You don't know the hour. You don't know the day. You don't know anything. So if you're stupid enough not to take your backpack with you, and the backpack should just have medical, knife, just the bare essentials to get you home. A couple of protein bars, maybe some bit of fruit, dried fruit, whatever. Because if you've got to walk 20 k's to get home, maybe there's an EMP attack, or, you know, I don't think there's ever going to be an EMP attack, but there could be. But, you know, there might be a nuclear bomb dropped, and that'll wipe out a lot of electrical stuff anyway. So my point being is that if you're prepared and you're actually preparing and you want to be prepared, then, you know, it's got a spare pair of undies in it, a couple of pairs of undies, socks, just the bare essentials, folks. A little bit of rope, compass, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, look, if you're not carrying this around with you, and I'll give you an example. Say you drive down to the nearest mall, but the nearest mall is 25 k's away. Doesn't sound far when you get in a car. 25 k's, what's that? 20 minutes in a car? 100 k's an hour? So you zip down there with all the other zippy down there people in, you know, zippy zip land with, you know, 10,000 credit cards to spend $1 trillion on. And while you're in that mall, everything collapses. Why isn't my debit card working? Why is my credit card working? Oh, it must be the machine. Next person, no, not working. Then pandemonium breaks out. People going to where? Their cars. You see my point? You're only 25 k's from home, 20 k's from home, but you try getting home. So you're there and you've got a pair of thongs on. By the way, folks, if you're watching from America, thongs are footwear over here. Basically, rubber slippers. So you're going to walk 20 k's in those? It's about this, folks. It's not about this. It's about this, using your head and being prepared. Being prepared. All right, I've said enough. God bless. Prep out.